So, welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to look at taking a Model X steering wheel and switching that to a yoke. The couple things to keep in mind. We want to keep our door open because we want the glass to be down before we turn this all off. We'll go into the safety on the screen, go down to the bottom, power it off. Leave that off for maybe 30 seconds or so, and that'll shut down, let all the air conditioning things turn off. We want our steering wheel turned 90 degrees so that way we can access these two screws on the top and the bottom. Those are both 4mm. The main screw that holds on the steering wheel is a 10mm. If you're doing standard, I want to say 5/32 would be very close to 4. I'm not sure about the 10. 3/8 would be kind of close, but it's going to be a little bit small. Anyhow, you peel this off. You can pop the covers. There's going to be a set of screws. You take the frunk out, turn off the 12-volt battery here. That will disconnect all of that stuff. Then we'll come back in here. Really, the only two things you'll need is just that hex for the main screw that holds that in, and then the little one to go back in here. These little ones, the 4mm, those are to 7 Newton meters, or I want to say a little over 5 foot-pounds of torque, 5.1, 5.16, something like that. And then for the main one in the center, that one is, I believe, 10mm hex, and that is going to be to 80 Newton meters is the torque rating that we want on that, which would be about, I think, 59 foot-pounds of force, or thereabouts. So pretty simple. We'll go through, we'll get all that stuff disconnected, and start taking these off. I only have one hand, so I'm going to pause the video for a second. So this is difficult to do one-handed, but we'll loosen this side here. Then same thing down on the bottom as well. Spin that. All right, once those are both loosened, this whole piece comes off as one big section, which you can pull gently. And I'll show you in a second here. These clips. This whole thing comes off as one piece. Put a little freeze frame in here, but these little metal clips right here sit into those holes there, and there's a set of them all the way around. So in here, we have our different plugs. Make sure you remember the orientation of which one goes where. So we have yellow on the right, you'd be in this orientation if your wheel's upright. Yellow on the right, red on the left, and then if you have that other one on the bottom there, I believe that might be for like the steering wheel heater or something along those lines. So an easy way, you can use a pair of pliers. But basically, you zoom in here, that clip right there and that clip right there are the two you want to pull out, and same thing is going to be for the one down below. Okay, so try doing this one-handed. It takes some substantial amount of force to get that broken free. Once you have it free, they have some yellow thread locker on there. When we're done, I'm going to throw, if I can grab it here, just a dot of blue to hold it into place there. And you can see actually that that is quite dried out. So on here, notice the orientation. You're going to have, there we go, slide that straight out. These couple pins on the top and the bottom. Maybe I'll just freeze frame that when I'm editing this later so you can see better. But you want those to be lined up in the exact same orientation here as it came off. Let's grab our yoke and we will replace it. And the yoke we're using here is from Amazon. This one is Drippo gear. Nice, very similar sort of fit and finish to the factory stock one. It's got basically the same sort of thing, the same holes where all the stuff is going to go into, same spots for the plugs, etc., etc. Now this one had the green mark. You could take a Sharpie if you wanted to, when you have the other one there, and just mark inside the center part there, so that way you know you have everything lined up in a nice clean line. So when you go to put this one on, You also have it in a clean line. Different ways of doing it, but just going to make sure you have everything lined up. Your clock spring here obviously can spin around. Now we're going to take this unit here and put it back on top. Other thing to bear in mind real quickly, the screws that are going to go through both of these holes here are still in the back of this. You can see that they are held captive. I can grab it with my finger from the rubber, so you just need to go from the inside of the steering wheel from this angle and just push those back out. So that way you can use them again in here. So before we put this back in and torque it down to 80 Newton meters, or about 59 foot-pounds, I'm just going to put a dot of blue thread locker on there. So on your torque wrench, we'll just go here. Mine has foot-pounds on one side, Newton meters on the other. Set it to 80, torque that down. Okay, so now that we got that torqued back into place, we will grab our unit here carefully, and we're going to reconnect the wires. Remembering that the red or brown, whatever color you want to call that, is going to go left orientation. Yellow is going to go on the right. It also tells you here, just like the factory one did, yellow or gelb. And that one's going to go there. And then this one for the steering wheel heater is going to plug into this one right here. All right, let's put these in. Okay, so once we have those all plugged back in, we got our wire for the heater down there, the yellow and maroon, whatever color. We're going to line it back up. Remember, these little tabs are all going to go into those little holes all the way around. We will push this back into place, and then once it is back into place, we will then tighten the one screw on the top and the bottom to, what did we say that was? 7 Newton meters. And I'll attach all the links in the description. All right, so we got everything all back together again. You can see we're lined up on the top. Push it back in around the edges. It's got a, let's say, pretty good fit and finish. Maybe it could be a tad bit tighter on this edge here. There's a little bit of a gap right there, it looks like. But everything is screwed back in. We have all of our electronics connected back up, torqued in. Next thing to do is go drive around on the road and make sure we're still tracking straight, which, as we lined up, so we should be. And we'll be back. So we turn the heated steering wheel on. See how long it takes to heat up, if it heats up at all. I just feel like it's starting to get warm. The sides. Definitely not as fast as my Model Y, that's newer. So what I will say is the sides definitely get warm. Bottom doesn't really feel like it gets warm, so I feel like it just gets kind of hot on the two sides here. So something to know, I'm not in a particularly cold climate, so that doesn't really matter to me because I'm probably never going to use it. But if you are in a cold climate, something to be in mind of, keep in mind that the left and the right will get warm, but not the bottom. All right, so took it out on the road. We're all good with our alignment and whatnot. And yeah, I hope that was helpful. If you're looking to install a yoke for your Model X, again, this was a 2017. I'm pretty sure anything from the beginning, which is 2015, if I'm not mistaken, to 2020, the process would be the same for those. But yeah, I will put a link down in the description below for all of the information from Tesla's website about specifications and all that kind of a thing. And yeah, that's all we got. Thanks for watching. Till next time.